everyone. I am still waiting for the live to go through, and let me just share this on my page. How's everyone doing? How is everybody? All set for the end of the year? All set for the new year? So as always, please say hello and hi to me, because I love saying hi back to you. And I'm just going to wait for a few more moments to make sure that everyone who wanted to log on has had the opportunity to see the notification and come on board. So while we're waiting, please say your hellos to me so that I know exactly who is listening in. And I know a lot of people have written to me to say that sometimes they're not able to join in at 4 o'clock on a Sunday Sydney time, but that they do catch up on the recorded versions, which is nice because, then you can listen to the whole topic at leisure in your own time. So let me find out who's listening. Please say hello to me while I wait for the others to come on board. It's Sunday Chats with Nim, and today's topic is about New Year resolutions. So I'm really excited about that, and I hope you are too. Hi Roshni, hi Smita. I'm very well, thank you. I've been busy, as I'm sure all of us have, but it's always nice to be in front of the camera for Sunday Chats with Nim. Hi Rajul, how are you doing? I think it must be about those who are logging in from India. I think that's usually 10:30 a.m. India time, and Sydney time is 4 p.m. every fortnight with Sunday Chats with Nim. Now, I did explain a few weeks ago that I used to do Sunday Chats with Nim every single week. And much as I enjoyed it, it was becoming a lot harder to stick to that schedule because I have been quite busy recently with the work that's happening on book number 3 and with all my life coaching commitments, etc. And so I changed that schedule, and now I do Sunday Chats with Nim only once every fortnight, which is perhaps why you haven't seen me on social media as much as before. And I've also reduced the number of times I post my articles and other blog posts to once a week. Yeah, hopefully next year, once I've finished all my current commitments, I can go back and ramp up the number of times I was posting on social media. But it was becoming a little bit exhausting and hectic trying to juggle all those balls up in the air. And that's why I've reduced how many times I do post on social media. So continue saying your highs to me. Today we're talking about how to successfully make and keep New Year resolutions. Okay, let's have a quick read at what Raju says. I'm good. How are you? It's 8 a.m. here. Perfect time for me to catch up on your live chat while I'm on my way to work. Fantastic. Fantastic. Thanks, Raju. So it is that time of the year, guys. 2018 is almost at an end. 2019 is practically around the corner. And I do believe that there are two types of people in the world. Those who make New Year resolutions and those who don't. Now, I have belonged to both categories over the last many years. So initially, for a few years, I belonged to that section of humanity that firmly made a resolution. Every time January rolled around, 1st of January, I was ready with my resolution. And inevitably, as many of you may agree, by mid-January, or at the latest by end of January, I had broken every single resolution I made. And so after that, for a few years, I belonged to that section of humanity that recognized that it was a complete waste of time to make New Year resolutions. And so I stopped making any resolutions for a long, long time because I did not want to set myself up for failure. Because like I said just a moment ago, by the time it was, say, 15th of January, I would have broken that resolution which I had made. So it was becoming quite frustrating for me to make resolutions and break them soon after. Hi Nilu, I am fine, thank you. Finally, I'm able to catch up with you after a month. Wow, that is a long time. Having said that, I'm only doing Sunday Chats with Nim twice a month now. So hopefully you haven't missed out on much. Hi Divya, good to see you. Thank you, everyone. Continue saying your highs and hellos while I continue with today's topic, which is how to successfully make and keep New Year resolutions. So, like I said, I used to make resolutions a long time ago. And then I realized that it was a complete waste of time to make those resolutions because I was only breaking them soon after. And then a few years ago, I recognized and learned the trick, right, which I'm going to share with you today, which makes it a whole lot easier for me now to not only make effective resolutions, but to also keep them. Now, having said that, I wanted to point out that I'm someone who does not wait for 1st of January of a new year to roll around for me to make a new resolution. I keep demanding more from myself throughout the year, and I think that has proved to be a good practice for me and something that you might want to try out too. But now that the year end is rolling around, I thought it is an apt topic because for the large part, most of us are thinking about New Year resolutions, etc., etc. Hi Vandana, good to see you. Hopefully you can all hear my voice okay. I've left my microphone at home. I'm not sure why that happened, so hopefully the audio is clear. Okay, so let me first find out how many of you who are listening in, how many of you have made a New Year resolution already, and if any of you wants to share what resolution it is, please feel free to type that in your comments. So let me just wait for a moment while you take some time to answer that question. Have you already made a New Year resolution, or are you about to make one, or do you belong to that part of humanity that does not believe in making New Year resolutions because you think you're not going to stick to them? So do you want to quickly take a moment to answer that question for me, please, while I sip my water? Has anyone made any New Year resolutions so far? Now, I know, Rajul, you won't be able to answer that one because you're driving, but hopefully some of the others might pitch in. Vandana says, not yet. Okay, good. Anyone else? Have you made a resolution yet, or you're about to make one, or you don't believe in making one? Which out of that? And Rajul says, not yet too. Okay, now let's find out what are some of the reasons people are not able to stick to their New Year resolution. Can anyone tell me one or two reasons why people, many people, I'm not saying all, but why so many of us are not able to stick to our New Year resolutions? Roshni says, yes, I have made some resolutions. Good, Roshni. And Neelu says, I never made any resolutions as I always forget that I made any. That sounds like me, Neelu, for a long, long time. That was exactly me. I used to forget that firstly I've made a resolution, and if I did remember, I would actually break it pretty soon after. But things changed much later, and I'm going to share those strategies with you all today. So what are some of the reasons people break their resolutions so soon after making them with so much earnestness? What do you think are some of the reasons? Well, let me share some of my reasons why I think people don't stick to their resolutions. First of all, sometimes we make unrealistic resolutions, resolutions that involve a massive, giant leap of faith, a leap that is so big that it is impossible to stick to that resolution. So that is one of the reasons why people fail to stick to their resolutions. The second reason, I think, is, from my perspective, why people don't live up to their New Year resolutions is poor planning. Okay, so they fail to plan properly. There's not enough thought put into how they're going to achieve those resolutions, because of which they fail. And Roshni says, lack of motivation, couldn't able to make resolution or break the resolution. Lack of motivation, Roshni, absolutely right. It's a very, very big and universal reason why so many people are making and breaking resolutions. It's lack of motivation. And the other reason that I can think of is that you're not really accountable to anyone when you make a resolution. There's no one breathing down your neck and saying you absolutely must stick to this resolution. And those are some of the reasons why people fail to stick to their New Year resolutions. But today I'm going to give you a way to make it all work so that you can rejoin that group of people who make resolutions and also are able to keep them. Okay, so firstly, if you have a moment and if you have a piece of paper next to you and a pen or a pencil, I want you to divide the page into two halves, and on the left you write primary goal for 2019, and on the right you write secondary goals for 2019. So on one half of the page you write primary goal for the new year, and on the right you write secondary goals for the new year. Why do I say this? Because while most of us have one singular goal that we really passionately want to achieve, very often we also have smaller goals that may have less impact on our lives, but which we would like to fulfill as well. Okay, so let me give you an example. Let's say person A, for them the primary goal for 2019, let's say, is to lose the last 5 kilos to arrive at their ideal weight. But that same person A may also have two smaller goals, such as they may want to be a more understanding spouse, and the secondary goal, the next one, might be that they want to get promoted in 2019 to a senior role. But maybe both those secondary goals are not as important to them as the first goal of losing weight and arriving at their ideal weight. Okay, so when you're thinking about the new year and resolutions, the way I work is think of one singular primary goal that you want to achieve, and then have maybe 2 or 3 smaller goals that you would love to achieve as well during the new year, side by side with the primary goal. Okay, now I'm going to tell you the primary reason why I think most resolutions fail. And the day I realized why that was happening to me, why so many of my resolutions were not reaching fulfillment, everything changed for me. Okay, that secret of being able to achieve your resolutions is how often we use the word should. S-H-O-U-L-D, should. Think about it. What do we tell ourselves? I should lose 5 kilos. I should get a promotion this year. I should be more understanding with my spouse. I should be more confident. I should be this, I should be that. Should, should, should. Now the word should actually brings to mind a strict teacher who's standing there with a stick, making sure that you stick to your resolution. And all of a sudden, it makes the New Year resolution feel like a duty or a chore. And the default mindset of most human beings is that they don't want to do things that seem like too much work. So the minute we keep telling ourselves, when we are thinking about New Year resolutions, that I should do this and I should do that in the new year, and that 2019 should be XYZ, we're putting too much pressure on ourselves to become more disciplined. And honestly, while it all sounds nice and rosy, no one really wants to put in the work to be more disciplined. Discipline has almost a negative connotation. It's boring to be disciplined. It's a lot of hard work to be disciplined. And that's why so many of us are not able to live up to those expectations, because everything is about what we should do or should not do. All right, so Now what happens the minute we say should and it starts seeming like a duty, we try to come up with all kinds of reasons why it's not going to work for us, okay? Because while we recognize the importance of achieving that goal, everything else seems far more fun, feels far more tempting. For example, let's say you want to lose those last 5 kilos, right? But you see the last donut in the box, and then there's this mini battle happening inside your head. And even though you know you should not eat it, the donut just seems more fun and more tempting than resisting it. Even though you know you should be asking for that promotion from your boss, it just seems so much easier and so much less of a hassle to just stick to your desk and continue doing what you've been doing for the last so many years than to actually speak up. Even though you know you should be a more understanding spouse, you still don't want to give your spouse the pleasure of thinking you are weak if you walk away from a battle. So every option, every alternative other than your New Year resolution suddenly seems to have a lot more positive reasons attached to it. And that's why we don't do anything with our New Year resolutions. And everyone is so silent that I'm wondering if you don't have any questions. So if you do have any questions, please ask me, because it is quite exhausting to keep talking. And I always love to hear you all interacting and making your comments and asking your questions. So if there's anything you want to share with me while I am speaking, feel free to continue making your comments and saying hi and hello to me as well. So we've just understood that the word should is what is standing in your way from fulfilling your New Year resolutions. And now I'm going to give you a way out of that. So firstly, banish that word should from your dictionary because it is really truly holding you back. Okay, so now that I think about it, every time you are about to give up on your resolution, do you know the one question that's subconsciously happening inside your head? You're asking yourself, what's the worst that will happen if I don't stick to my New Year resolution? That's the question that's going on inside your mind. So let's say you've decided in 2019 you're going to lose 5 kilos, okay? You're going to go to the gym every morning at 6 a.m. and you've made all these grand decisions. And then by, say, 15th of January, you're a little bit bored and you're a little bit tired of waking up at 6 a.m. and it suddenly all seems like a lot of work. So you start giving yourself reasons and you start justifying to yourself. And without realizing it, you're asking yourself this question: what's the worst that'll happen if I don't go to the gym today? Basically what you're saying, and the words that are left unspoken are, what's the worst that'll happen to me if I don't stick to my New Year resolution? That's where the problem lies, because we're not living in a bubble, and yet we pretend that we are. Everything is about us. It's as though we're living inside a bubble and no one and nothing else matters. It's all about me, me, me. What's the worst that'll happen to me if I don't go to the gym? What's the worst that'll happen to me if I have that donut instead of resisting it? What's the worst that'll happen to me if I don't speak up and ask my boss for a promotion? And we come up with reasons that seem to satisfy us. If we don't go to the gym, you'll continue to be the same weight that you are right now. And you tell yourself, well, what's so bad about that? I've been this weight for all these years. What's another year? And that's how you justify it to yourself. When you say, what's the worst that'll happen if I don't ask for a promotion? You come up with reasons why it's okay. You might tell yourself, well, I'll continue being at the same desk. And anyway, I've been at this desk for the last 10 years. What's another year or two? Now, what I want to encourage you to realize before it's too late is that there are so many others who will benefit if you stick to your resolution. There are so many people out there in the universe that perhaps depend on you for so many different things and whom you could make a lot happier if you stick to your resolution. And it's not all about you. Let's say you lose those last 5 kilos. How will you benefit? You will benefit because you will look better, you will feel better, you will experience a hike in your self-confidence. And when you become more self-confident, perhaps you will be a better spouse, a better parent. So it's not only you who will benefit, it's also the people who matter. Okay, let me give you a simple personal example. Whenever it's time for Sunday Chats with Nim, I'm always excited, but there have been days when I felt a little lazy and I was tempted to not do the Sunday Chat with Nim on that particular day. Now, I had made a resolution that I would do it every 2 weeks, and there are moments when I feel lazy. Okay, I could say to myself, well, what's the worst that'll happen if I don't go live today and do Sunday Chats with Nim? Yes, a few people may be disappointed, but they can always log in 2 weeks later. I can say that, but I do know that it's not only about me, that there are people who might be waiting for this particular show. So even if there's one person on the other side who is waiting for Sunday Chats with Nim at 4 o'clock, then I owe it to them to turn up, to show up, and to do my bit. Okay, so what I'm going to say is every time you feel like giving up on your New Year's resolution, don't think about what's the worst that'll happen to you if you don't stick to it. Ask yourself instead, what's the best that can happen to the people who matter to me if I do stick to my resolution? So that's it for today. Does anyone have any questions before I sign off? But I really wanted to share this about New Year resolutions because the moment I changed how I looked at resolutions, the moment I stopped only thinking about myself, that it's okay to not stick to this resolution because, the worst that'll happen to me is X, Y, Z. And the moment I started thinking about, hold on, what's the best that can happen, not only to me, but to the people around me who matter to me, then suddenly I had renewed motivation to stick to my New Year resolution. So hopefully all of you, if you do decide to go ahead and make a primary goal or a primary resolution and a secondary goal or a secondary resolution for 2019, hopefully these tips that I have shared today will help you to not only make effective New Year resolutions, but to stop being so afraid of them and to actually give yourself a reason bigger than yourself for sticking to them. So that's it from me for today, guys. I hope you've enjoyed today's session. I'm going on a slight break next week and the week after, but I will be back to do the next Sunday Chats with Nim, I think on the 30th of December, and well in time to wish you all a fantastic 2019. So I'll see you then. Have a wonderful time until then. Take care and make sure you look after those New Year resolutions. Bye for now.